So I am Collins Gameli Hodoli, and I'm going to present briefly on our not-for-profit Clean Air One Atmosphere. This is about community engagement. We are looking to see how we can engage folks from our part of the world on air pollution, its health impact, and mitigation approaches, as well as how we can develop research. So this is an overview of the presentation, who we are as a not-for-profit, why we do what we do passionately. We're looking at openness and reproducibility. We're looking at the butterfly effect. We're looking also at what is our gain as an organization. And the butterfly effect is also just carried down to Yakokwe, that is a flagship mobile application. So we're just a small group of passionate and dedicated professionals with skills and experience in epidemiology, computer science, environmental science, and business administration. Our patron, Dr. Kofi Amaga, is an epidemiologist. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. And our IT head or IT manager is Kenneth Kwachi Jemfi, who is a computer scientist. And I am an environmental scientist. I have a varying background. My BSc actually on natural resource management, and second degree I look at health and the environment. And then, what actually birthed Clean Air One Atmosphere is my PhD research, which was focused on using local sensors for air pollution or air quality monitoring in resource constrained settings. So we use DIY approaches, which is just saying do it yourself approaches, and to develop bespoke solutions to revolutionize air quality monitoring in Africa with low cost sensors and help mitigate air pollution and climate change via integrated policies. So we're looking to see how we can use emerging technology, especially low cost sensors, to be able to understand or establish some observational values on air quality within environments where there is less or sporadic monitoring. So why we do what we do passionately? The current research findings have shown that air pollution is responsible for 780,000 deaths per annum in Africa, and that is really huge. This is heartbreaking. What it means is that we are losing our population to deaths that we can actually control or mitigate. So as a not-for-profit, we want to see with the current knowledge we have how we can mitigate that, how we can be able to contribute to manage that. And again, another key thing is that our future is at risk because about 520 million children in Africa are exposed to air pollution. And the UNICEF reported that in 2016. So, which means that children, will suffer because in a sense that in a classroom, there's going to be absenteeism. For instance, if you're looking at kids with asthma, they will suffer. They may not be able to stay in the classroom. And also, there is also another key finding, which is by Cannes, Italy in 2019, that if you are exposed to air pollution at childhood, there is a possibility of you developing, mental health issues in adulthood. So if 520 million children in Africa are exposed to air pollution, it means that we are putting our future into jeopardy. So key species that we actually talk about is particulate matter, and these are in degrees. There is a PM 2.5, which is particle with sizes less than or equal to 2.5 microns, and PM 10, which is also particles with sizes less than or equal to 10 microns. Now, there is also emerging PM1, and then other key species that we consider is carbon monoxide, which, at higher levels can actually lead to collapse. Then we can also talk about VOCs and methane as well. This is just to give you an overview of what sort of particles or what sort of substances we should be talking about when it comes to air pollution. Now, again, talking about why we do what we do passionately, if you look at this environment, I took this picture in Ghana for research work. If you look at the background, you can see that the very first picture on the left, you can see that there is, some sort of smoke, very dark one in the atmosphere. And you can see that the road is untarred. There is also, a lot of vehicles. And then there is someone within the picture. What I'm trying to portray with this picture is just to tell you what it is like in our environment. So which means that if we are not able to do anything about air pollution, we are killing ourselves slowly, and it will get to a point where we wouldn't be able to stand to defend our future, in the sense that slowly we are being poisoned, or we are poisoning ourselves through our activities. For instance, we are looking at, increasing vehicular fleets, which is seen or demonstrated in these, and you can see people burning stuff, which is also there. And all these is also related to the next picture on the right. You can see this picture is taken from a AT mask. What is demonstrated here is, the level of, burning that is contributing to air pollution in our parts of the world, which means that if care is not taken, the way we manage waste, the way we actually treat waste will be a problem, in the long term, though it is established already that, waste management practices are contributing to air pollution in our part of the world. So if you live in an environment, or you come from an environment like this, you need to be very careful how you approach the subject, which is why we need to actually engage the public and let them understand that this is the level of gravity that they are causing harm, and what can be done about it. So which means that, if people do appreciate the fact that my ways of managing waste is actually contributing to air pollution, which in one way or the other is affecting my health, because one, the air is something that we cannot see, we all breathe it, and we cannot select it. It's not food to select which one you want to eat. So we need to let people understand that this is the current situation, and if care is not taken, we might all die slowly. So what is our gain? Our gain actually is that we want to focus on Africa to contribute to air pollution mitigation. And when I say these, I say it through the butterfly effect, in the sense that we just want to make a little bit of change in what we do, or by doing what we do in a very little way, it can contribute to a very huge change. That's, imagine we are in this community A or B, and just telling people that these are your activities which are not helping the environment. For instance, if you don't service your cars, if you do not have catalytic converters in your cars, you are actually polluting the environment because of the fuel that is coming out from the exhaust. And then the key thing again is that if you are not properly disposing waste, you are just burning waste, you are contributing to atmospheric emissions, which in one way or the other will affect our health. Now, another key thing that we want to do is to contribute to raising a generation of leaders for environmental sustainability and public health protection. We believe that children are the future, and so we want to teach them the future. We want to teach them that these are the protocols that you need to follow when you need to mitigate environmental pollution. So, but then for that to happen, they need to develop the interest in the subject. So how do we do that? By engaging basic school children, by talking to them, by letting them understand what the situation is and what they can do, even in their own very small way, because children are the future, and they are the source of change. So if they're able to appreciate or also consume the message of environmental sustainability, they also develop interest in subjects or subject areas where we cannot focus on to develop really well. For instance, if you come to Africa now, the main thing is that lack of expert or limited expertise. It is just because folks don't have interest in this subject. And why is that happening? It is because they do not have the knowledge of the subject, because nobody tells them about it. So they don't really know, and they cannot develop the interest. But then if you move a step further to teach these kids, it means that they will sustainably manage the environment, they will sustainably manage resources by developing the needed skills in maybe subjects such as atmospheric science, chemistry, all those related subjects. We also want to contribute, that is already stated, contribute to raising prominent atmospheric scientists in the next decade from Africa. And which is why we want to so much focus on children, because they are actually the future. And if we are polluting the environment now and we do not give them the needed information and the knowledge, they wouldn't be able to mitigate. They wouldn't be able to actually take steps that will correct that. So in as much as we are looking to promote research, we are also looking to see how we'll be able to develop the interests of these kids. Now, we also looking to be part of, not, we don't want to operate as a silo. We want to operate as a team. So we are collaborating with others. We have collaborated with folks from the University of Columbia in the US, University of Cape Coast, and the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, as well as the AP of Ghana. We've deployed some air quality monitors, local sensors under the Ghana Urban Air Quality Monitoring Project. And so that is what we are doing. We are not just doing it alone, because addressing environmental pollution cannot be a one-way system by one particular entity. It has to be efforts from all angles. And then another key thing that we are doing is to drastically contribute to reduce air pollution related deaths in Africa. Earlier, I showed that, about 780,000 deaths in Africa alone per annum is due to air pollution. And again, the future of Africa is at risk, because 520 million children in Africa are exposed to air pollution. So we need to do something about that. Again, you can think about deaths related to pneumonia, which is aggravated by air pollution. So if you think around all those things, what can we do? Something can only be done when people know what is going on, because information spurs action. So now we're looking at openness and reproducibility. Key thing we are trying to actually focus on again is data mining tools and interpretation. So while we are deploying these local sensors and the data is coming, how do we process the data? How do we even understand? How do we relate to, okay, this is the air quality data. What does it tell us? And what can we do with such data? How do we use it to engage the community? And these can only happen if we have tools that we can use to actually analyze the data and be able to understand it and be able to interpret that. So, the key thing to also look at is that local sensors, the data from them actually is not of a high quality. So they require some correction mechanism. However, it has been used by several researchers or research in many domains, for instance, even in the UK, to understand hotspots of air pollution, and which is also something we can look at. We can also use these devices to also engage the community in terms of understanding observational levels of air quality. And so we are looking at data management, but all this is based on developing open source tools. So where folks, not just in Ghana, but wherever in Africa, can use to be able to understand these types of data and also interpret it and give meaning to it. So earlier I developed a protocol, which is a tool that I tried on a number of the sensors from the same manufacturer, which is Purple Air. And so I tried those tools on data from the Congo, from Togo, and they were all working perfect. So the key thing is that if we're able to have these open source tools, we'll be able to actually develop a network of experts across Africa, where we'll be able to focus on how these data can be meaningfully used. And we're also looking at network management, which is just about, having networks of folks across and to have these sort of meetings and calls and be able to see what is the way forward, what we are doing to actually mitigate air pollution or environmental pollution, and how that is connected to the bigger picture of a sustainable Africa. Now, another thing is community engagement. So through these presentations and also through these protocols or strategies, we are able to reach out. We interview students from basic schools and see what their level of understanding is when it comes to air pollution and its impact on public health. And all those will be done through workshops and outreach. We're also looking at training and mentoring. earlier I said that we want to focus on kids, or we want to focus on basic school children because they are the future. And so we can actually help them to appreciate what it is. It is not just because we want to focus on children, but then whoever is ready to learn anything when it comes to air pollution mitigation, understanding the use of local sensors and data mining and whatever that is related to air pollution, we are happy to take the person on board. And we also want to see where we are going to expand our services and then contribute to developing mitigation policies. So we are already registered, for instance, with the Ghana Environmental Protection Agency. What it means is that we have that link, so we'll be able to sit on the table with the EPA and discuss or sort of push forward, which is why we are also connected or linked with academia as well, and see what is needed when it comes to developing specific protocols or strategies for mitigation and also air pollution research. Even if it comes to data communication, how and in which format, and all those should be done. Now, the butterfly effect, as I said earlier, we have launched a mobile application, Yakokwe, and what we do with this is basically just to get the public to understand what it means when it comes to air pollution and then air quality levels, as well as related or corresponding health effects. So we use the AQI, which is the, I said that earlier, which is the air quality index, and that comes with a color code. So we have a color coding system, and so each degree is given a particular or a specific meaning. So for instance, if you have an AQI of 0 to 50, that is good. So which means that the air is clean. Now, again, I need to point out that the data from what we use on the app, or the data on the app, is from a local sensor. So we have stated that it is only for community engagement because we have not yet validated the data. So we cannot say that regulatory wise, it is okay to use. But then we are saying that we can use this to engage the public. We can use it to actually get folks to understand what it means when it comes to air quality level and its impact on health. So we have these, and we have launched it currently just on the Android powered devices because we have not actually been able to raise funds to that degree to be able to develop for all markets. And we are still polishing, it's still in the pilot phase. So if you want to try this, wherever you are in Africa, we have locations all across Africa, wherever we can access open source data from the Purple Air map. We have put that on the app. So everywhere in Africa that we can find a Purple Air sensor deployed and the data is on the map, we use that. You just go to the Play Store quickly, you search for the app Yakokoe, Yakokoe. You download it and install, you launch the app and allow it to access location services and stay level headed with auto notifications. Basically, that is what it is. And the next slide is just going to show you what it is like. So this is the homepage on the app. If you launch and just follow everything that I said earlier, what's going to pop up first is that it takes you straight to the nearest sensor to you because you have allowed location service to be used. So it takes you straight to that. And then the next page that is going to follow, which is, just the icons at the bottom. The first one is the home. The second one, which looks like a globe, is a map. So that tells you exactly where you are getting the reading from, where the AQI is coming from. That is where the sensor is deployed. And if you go to the next one, which is history, is telling you just the air quality levels or the indices at every 10 minutes. And so you see the history displayed. And what we have also done is that, in Africa, the key thing is that we lack data. So health surveillance data is also something which is not really there. So we're trying to populate that sort of data to promote air quality research as well as health effect studies. So what we have done is that we develop this concept, which is to populate data on folks that are interested to put their details out there for us to use. For instance, even if there is any air quality monitor, whether it is regulatory or not regulatory within your environment, and you want to tell us that. You can also indicate it. And if you are interested in hosting a sensor, we'll just try and get a sensor and install within your environment. If you are close to a factory, highway, wherever, all those key things that play a role in terms of understanding air quality levels, uh, all those aspects. Plus, if you have any health effects, for instance, if you suffer from cardiovascular or respiratory diseases, or you have asthma, you indicate. And even if you visit the hospital, how often you visit the hospital, all those things will be indicated. So that then gives us the data to be able to understand the impacts or the effects of the air you are breathing on your health. So we can relate that to our findings, or we can relate that to whatever will develop out of that, and say that, okay, to some degree, air quality, when it is at this level, maybe your situation is worsened. And so what should the government do about it? But then this cannot happen if we don't have folks using the app. This cannot happen if we don't get people to actually have this on their phone and be able to, or willing to even fill in the information for us to use. So which is why we need people to actually patronize. We need the traction to get out there, and we are actually contributing, or we want to contribute to address air pollution in our world. Thank you so much. That is basically the end of it. I know